is my baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you.
Good evening, hello everybody. Readjusting the studio a little bit. How you doing? Great to see you here. Raphael, it's been a while. Hello, Mr. Ludwig. Right. Norwegian Attack with us, as usual. Perfect. We love that. I'm the master of being distracted. It's incredible. And it's such a coincidence that Raphael is here with us tonight, because he actually had a couple of live streams when he was talking about efficiency, how to work as a freelancer, how to put focus on right things, and all that has inspired me, together with lots of stuff that I'm working on. And I've been working with this kind of productivity system for myself for, I don't know, 30 years definitely. But we'll come to that topic later on. Great to see you here anyway. I'm going to play the welcome song, which I just chose. I didn't write it in the video's description, but I did write a couple of things in the description that you might want to visit, maybe not during this live stream, but later on. I've put in some links to the people I'm following and respecting and actually buying stuff from. And yeah, we can take that later. So let's go. The welcome song. It's a prison song by Huddy Ledbetter. An amazing blues and folk singer and guitar player from the 30s, 40s, 50s. So he wrote this song. Maybe he didn't write it, but he definitely made it popular even then in the 30s. It's called Midnight Special, and I've played this song before in open G tuning. And I'm going to show you how I do it in standard tuning, either when I'm accompanying somebody else or when the key for the song is maybe suitable for somebody else who doesn't like to sing it in G that I usually play it in. So the E. And there's one really funny progression that I'll show you later on. So if you ever go to Houston, boy, you better walk right. And you better not gamble, and you better not fight. Sheriff Dudley will arrest you, he can sure take you down. And Judge Nelson, he will sentence you, and then you're jailhouse bound. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight midnight special, shining 7-Eleven light on me. Yonder come my woman, just tell me how did you know? I can tell by the slippers, 'cause I know them, and that old hat she wore. Straw hat on her head, boy, a piece of paper in her hand. So now look ahead now, Mr. Jailer, I want my lifetime man. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a 7-Eleven light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine its loving light on me. Let the midnight special shine its even loving light on me. Just a short explanation of the lick played, which is basically something that I stole from Merle Travis. This whole arrangement is very heavily based on his playing, so maybe it's a kind of homage to Merle Travis, fantastic guitar player from the 40s and 50s and 60s. He played all up to maybe late 70s, and then he left us in, I think, 81. Loads of great songs, fantastic guitar playing and everything else. But here's a chord that I've learned from him by watching a video on YouTube, and I just heard these notes. I've heard this, and then he went to the A chord. So I thought, what is this? I cannot recognize it. I know it's resemblant of, let's say, you go to the before the A chord, right? So it's got a A sharp or BB, as we call it in Sweden. But it's a different form of it. And since I don't know anything about music theory more than maybe a couple of chord shapes and chord names, and I can kind of count myself onto which note is which, but I don't know too much about the relations between them. That's something that I never really learned. But this chord I learned by ear, and here's how it's grabbed. It's on the, it's all on the first fret. The first fret on the 5th string, open 4th string, and then I press down the 3rd and the 2nd string on the 1st fret, and then open 1st string. So it's, and then you go to A, and that fits into let the midnight special shine a light on me, and so on. And this lick that I play here, this is actually the way to go from E to A chord. So, and I'm playing only the 6th, 3rd, and the 1st string, and I'm fretting on the 2nd fret of 1st, just the chord, the E chord, and then I fret on the 2nd fret of the 3rd and the 6th string, and just go chromatically upwards, and then A, or here. So just a short explanation of that. And yeah, that was a welcome song. So how is everybody doing? Actually, I need to thank Patrick here in the audience today, because I've had some well, not issues with my audio, but I never could really be sure that the sound out reaching you guys is really good, because I'm changing guitars. I'm basically having my microphones very close, so I need to work with gain into the mixer and to the sound card audio interface it's called, and then out. So Patrick was kind enough to take time and help me with some frequency changes. So if you guys are happy with how it sounds now, then it's definitely better than before. All right. We've come to the backup session for today. So I'm going to play a backup that you can play solo on. This is going to take some, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes altogether. And after that, directly we're going to today's theme, because I think we're going to be spending the rest of the time talking about that. But I've also prepared the lick of the week. A lot of that is based on what I've heard in one of my good friends, online friends, David Hunt from the States, who streams every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 p.m. my local time, Central European. And he plays his piano. It's a very relaxed approach that he has. It's all about sharing and caring, which is also my way to do things nowadays, that I don't want to tour too much. I'm more kind of inspired by teaching, sharing the licks, just giving it away for the legacy of acoustic guitar playing, blues slide techniques, and all that. So it's right. So I've been listening to David for quite a long time now, and I especially enjoyed his blues edition of his live stream, which I actually linked to in the description of this video, of this live stream. So if you go there afterwards, you'll hear him play some amazing stuff. And that, what he played there, reminded me of how I used to play a song, I've Had My Fun, which I don't remember anymore who composed it, but many blues artists from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and later on have played this song. Maybe you can look it up while I'm playing. So the pattern that I'm going to be playing for you as a backup is not the blues shuffle or slow blues as I played it before. So this is the first time. It's a new kind of rendition of how to play a backup in blues, and everything is based on playing the E chord, then A chord, but with a third on the 4th fret of the 5th string, and the third, it's because it's the third note in the A scale, which means 1, 2, 3, and then we play the chord. And then the next grip here is actually an E7 with a lot of open strings and very airy sound to this. And it's grabbed here on the 5th fret and on the 3rd fret, on the 3rd string and the 5th string here. And everything is combined with and then we change it as usually in a 12-bar blues. So let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. explanation time. I've thrown in some stuff that's kind of very jazzy, and actually I stole the chords from David's arrangement when he was playing and improvising over this, and I thought it was just fantastic how he played it. So let me just show you. The first lick was as I showed before, but as I usually advise people is to get the control over which strings are you picking and why. Exactly every time you play, especially if you're a solo artist, if you just play one guitar, no drums, no bass, nothing else, just you on the scene, then it's very difficult to be very dynamic and to kind of make the song exciting from the beginning to the end. So, well, I don't know, maybe this wasn't exciting at all, but I'll show you. So the first lick was... So I had a lot of open first strings here, and I played, let's say, the fifth, third, and the open the first string. So if you combine this with a bass, a big bass, this is one voicing of this chord shape and chord change. And then if I would play this with somebody else maybe, or if I would sing over it, then it would be a great accompaniment to do only basses, like this. So I'm deliberately playing only the last four strings, so to say the basses and down to the third string, and the grip is exactly the same. This would be, let's say, all together. But I would not play this too many times in a row because it gets boring and then you need to come up with something else. That's what I also threw in this. So it's open string, and then I glide with a third string from the fourth to the second fret, very fast. And then I release it, either as a kind of pull off, or I play it like this, and then go to the note E on the fourth string, second fret, and then just go. A little difference here, instead of, and all other combinations of notes here suit here very, very well. So this will be the backup for today. Go back to this later on. I'll put some chapters in the live stream afterwards so you can get back to just that part and play with it. And to reveal the lick of the week, it's going to be very similar to what I played here, basically the same chord shape, but then I'll just throw in some slide licks in between all these bass lines and the rhythm going, which is a recommendation that when you get back to this, just let me play the backup for you and play some slide on top of it, or just play the solo. And then you can always go back to it and learn these backup basics as well to play the chords. Right. All right, guys, let me know in the chat. I want to know, how are you organizing your stuff? This is a big subject for today, and I have to admit that I've been working with this very actively for the past 5, 6, maybe even 7, 8 years, I don't know, but definitely the last 5 years were this period when it came to me, and it came to my mind that I really need to put my stuff together, not to say that word, S-H-I and so on, because I just noticed that I want to do too many things, and I'm trying to do them at the same time, and then I'm doing a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and apart from that's what's my real kind of day job when I work with this nonprofit organization here in Sweden, it was really scattered all over the place. So I've shifted my focus from gigging, as I said before, because no matter how I love gigging and playing both clubs and festivals, if you do it, there are people who really enjoy that. Some amazing musicians that have been touring all their lives. Let me just mention John Hammond Jr., who could play the exactly same program, basically same songs, maybe 25, 30 songs that he kind of mixed in different set lists for different occasions, whatever. But basically he was very often playing the same program because he just loves it. He is a master of country blues, and that's what he did. But I kind of shifted a little bit from the gigging joys, because after maybe like 10, 15, 20 gigs in a row during a short period of time with not too much to rest in between, it became such a job and routine that I didn't enjoy it so much. Maybe not every time, but it just kind of, I was missing the family. I wanted to go back. I wanted to work on music more than to execute the songs and play them. And then I got this urge of sharing and caring, like helping somebody jump over a couple of steps, learn things faster than maybe I have learned them. That's also a memory that I have from the time when I was growing up, and when I was like 15, 16, started playing the guitar, and there was absolutely nobody around me who liked this music. I started with, what did I start with? Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, Beatles, Stones, all that stuff, of course. But then very, very fast, I kind of switched my interest to blues and early country, hillbilly, folk music and that stuff. And not so many people were playing that kind of music, or not even listening, in the former Yugoslavia when I was born and raised. And you had some kind of nerds, sorry about the word, but nerds who had records and could, talk a lot about music, and they were very knowledgeable about the music history and everything, but they were not playing. Those people who were playing guitar were not interested in this, what I was interested in. So I learned the most of what I know during those first, let's say, 10 years of playing by playing myself and listening to records. So I had to develop this ear of, okay, I need to recognize where is this note on the guitar neck that he or she is playing there. And that took a long time. Now I know how to recommend somebody how to recognize where the notes are played, how to listen to the whole picture, not only to the licks played or the chords played and all that. So my goal for the moment and for the, let's say, rest of my life is to share and care and help somebody improve their guitar playing. I'm mostly angled to beginner skills players and intermediate skills. I don't want to say the level, intermediate level, because it's too much classification of how much you can play. It's not about technique and all that. Although, of course, if you play a lot, if you perform a lot, you will develop technique of playing. It's inevitable. You have to do it. And of course, some people in the audience, they want the flashy, rhythmic stuff that's moving them. And as long as we're matching those needs, it's great, right? But many people that I've met, both in my audience and as my friends and acquaintances over the years, they were very often hobby players who wanted to learn something, either a new song or a new lick to improve their playing, but they didn't know how to do it. And that's my kind of audience. Those are people that I really love to work with, and I just love seeing somebody knowing this much about the guitar playing, and then you help them to reach and maybe play that much. And then this feeling of them, or the expression on the face when you just help them to, oh, that's right, that's how it's played. Oh, okay. And then they get to practice and do it. So just for the record and my credo, why am I doing this and why am I live streaming like this? I could just sell courses and make money and work individually with people, but I want to reach more. I want to reach, this will be staying on YouTube forever. So whoever comes in and sees these live streams, they can learn something no matter. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. Oh yeah, let me just make this a little bit bigger. Exactly, I do that very often. Oh, I have some tips for you guys. That's perfect. Great gear. Yeah, that's very often the case here as well. So I found a solution that I'm quite happy with. I'm not gonna claim here that, oh, this is how I do and this is how everybody else should be doing. No, the thing and the trick is that I've started with a pen and paper and then ended up using software and my computer to gather everything and to find the best way to distinguish things. I do it digitally nowadays. I can do it on pen and paper. I can show this thick pile of just paper notes that I took during this weekend only. So it's Monday today, and I'll be processing those paper notes very soon, tomorrow morning, let's say, during my coffee break, and I put maybe 10, 20 of them, I'll put them into the system where they belong, because I just get many ideas, too much stuff is going on. Some would say that I have ADHD because I'm very energetic, and some people are even annoyed by that. It's like, oh, come on, man, it's enough, Mac, it's okay, take it easy. So I'm trying to back off a little bit here in the live stream, but you will notice when I get into showing you the digital stuff, and I've prepared some both screenshots, and I'm going to be sharing the screen when I'm showing you the app that I'm using, Notion. But let me just go back a little bit to what we talked about several live streams ago when I mentioned August Bradley. There's a link to him in the videos, in the live stream description below, so you can visit that later on. So August has this fantastic video where on YouTube when he talked about the focus, how to achieve focus on the things that matter. And this is just a part of the things that August is teaching, and it's not only that he's teaching apps. He's got his whole course about year zero. I think that's the link I left. Where everything is happening in this same app that I'm using, but he is the master of the system, how to put things together, that you have a system that you can trust on and rely on when lots of different ideas are coming in. So it says his tips were like this: decide what matters most and squeeze everything else around it. Then schedule ahead of time. This is a tricky one. Then distinguish and remove the distractions of all kinds. You need to distinguish, what are my distractions? Is it social media? Is it family? Sorry. Is it television? Is it, I don't know, doing something else and not playing the guitar? And defend that zone. When you found it, when you defined your distractions and decided, okay, I'm not going to let those distract me anymore, then you defend that zone, which means we found the time to practice. We, let's say, allocated, okay, every day I'm going to have 25 minutes or 30 minutes at this or during this part of the day. It can be during your lunchtime, it can be in the evening, after the evening meal, or whenever. It's my recommendation are always to always allocate the same time. It's almost like classical players. All classical players practice at least 4 or 5 hours a day, no matter. Maybe not on the performance night, but the warm-up is definitely there for at least 1 hour. So let's learn from those people who are really dedicating their life to playing, but just kind of squeeze it into these 30 minutes that we have. So we did this first part, we allocated the time, good. Now what to do with that time? So now we go to a guy here in Sweden that I'm following very, very much, and I even met him in person, and we have very good contact through email, and we kind of exchange ideas, but I'm learning from him. He's not learning from me. His name is David Stjernholm, and there's a website in English that's linked down below as well. So he has a great, he's written books that are translated to English, so you can buy those as well. But what just struck me today is his newsletter came, and he wrote exactly about this. He says, okay, get an overview. If you feel overwhelmed, if there's too much to do, if you choose to do too much, and it's not something that somebody's kind of throwing at you, say, oh, you got to do it. If your choices are too many and too scattered, then try to get an overview. It doesn't matter if it's going to be paper and pen, it's going to be computer, a Word file, no matter what you're using, just put everything down that you want to work with. Every idea should be written down. And then you have to find the nuances in what's really important. Some things are important because they're fun. Some things are important because they're moving us to maybe some financial goal. Some things are something that we should be doing because we just left some things lie there as planned stuff that we never really took on. Projects, fix this at home, fix it, whatever it is. But when you write it all down, then it's much easier to notice the nuances in between things that you might like to do. And maybe you can start off, okay, let's make this list of things that I find really important, and the rest could be in maybe 2 other columns, less important, and I'll do this later. And then don't try to look at everything at the same time, because you're going to get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed as well by just watching at my pile of notes. You say, oh, I need to process this, but I just have to do it. So we go further on with this. Now distill and distill. If you see you got too much planned, get rid of or plan ahead, which means take a calendar and just decide on, okay, this week, next month, I'm going to be working on this. Write it down and try to stick to it. The first part is this kind of planning, just kind of putting everything into a broader perspective, and like you're in a helicopter and you're seeing down and you see more that way. But you don't have to look at everything. You just choose something that you're going to be working on at this moment, at this time maybe. And then rinse the planning, do it again, go back to the drawing board if you see that it's too much anyway, and then allocate more time if possible, or just start to be ruthless and just get rid of the stuff, because it's impossible to do more than the day gives us. 24 hours a day. Leonardo da Vinci had 24 hours a day. Okay, we're not going to compare us to Leonardo. No, okay. So, applying all this to music. Right. I also mentioned Marie Poulin and Thomas Frank, 2 content creators on YouTube who really mastered the systems of efficiency, productivity. They never claim that they are the best and that they really know everything. Of course not, but they really come a long way. They really have. So applying all this to music is like write down all ideas and songs that you want to work on in a long list. And then if you can distinguish what's a song, what's an idea, what's a lick, maybe you should write them on 3 different papers or on one large paper in 3 columns. songs that I like to learn, licks that I like to learn, tunings that I like to learn, or whatever. Then just think of the time you allocated each day for, let's say, dealing with music stuff, and try to be honest to yourself and to the time allocated and say, okay, how much will I be able to do? And then try to put some of these items on your list into time slots that you have. On paper, digitally, Google Calendar, Outlook, doesn't matter. Just put it in there. And then triple that time that you estimated, because it's always going to take more. I maybe could recommend that you guys make a 6-month plan. Maybe too serious, maybe too kind of nerdy, but just do it. Try to do it and defend that zone and try to work on those songs. And then also one very important thing is to keep notes on your progress. If you can, some things you won't just forget because you're working on them and all that, but keep track of your progress and write even down what's maybe not going so well, why maybe you're not succeeding with some song or a lick or whatever, and then look for help. Search on YouTube, call me, I don't care. It could be done. So I think we're mature enough to go to the next step, and I'll show you how I started all this. I discovered David Allen and his GTD method, which is actually getting things done. Productivity method from the, I think, late 80s, or no, mid 80s. So he wrote a book called The Black Belt in Everyday Productivity, GTD. So I read that and I tried to apply it, and everything, or a lot of the stuff from this method was concentrated on defining what are the contexts where when I can do some things, because he used to divide things. Okay, this can be done in front of the computer. For this, I need to be in town. For this, I need to be in another town or whatever. But later on, and I started following that. Well, not like a slave, but I was really determined to, I'm gonna, put this all together and I'm gonna, do it right. So I used paper and pen. I had these files, right, books, everything, and everything was written down. And then this is how it looked. It was, let's say, all these files, all this stuff that I was working on. This is quite old. This is from, I think, 92, 93, just before I got my first computer. And then I worked with these paper and pens and everything. But the thing was with this, that I didn't really master this system. I had everything in place, but I didn't really work with everything the way I planned, because a lot of distractions were around me. I couldn't maybe sometimes allocate the time. I was gigging too much. Lots of stuff just wouldn't match my desire to get productive and better organized. And I always needed to either take this file with me, which was cumbersome, and it was like, okay, how should, then the computers came into my life, and I realized, okay, I can have a file, and then I can have this disk with me. Maybe I can put it somewhere else and work on it when I'm on location and playing and touring. And so everything kind of started falling into place. And then I learned how to distinguish what was important. At that time, it was easy because I was recording, let's say, I was doing records. I was recording my own music, and I used to work as a studio musician as well. So everything was really neatly planned. So all I needed was to take my books and files and everything and just work on what was the assignment. But the trouble comes when you have too many choices, when you don't have to go gigging, when you don't have to do this and that, and then there are too many things in that file or in the computer that you're planning. So that's where this triage method is coming in, that we decide on what's important and then concentrate on that. So this is how I do it. let me show you how it looks in my computer, and I'll try to be not so nerdy. Right. So this is the app called Notion that I'm working in, and it's a fantastic application. It's actually a workspace, or workplace. You can go to their website. I also have that linked in the description below, notion.so, and you can get some nice explanations and ideas of how people use it. But for me, Notion was only music from the beginning, nothing else. So Notion is built on canvases, which is a page. So all this black behind this is just a page where I put some other pages. If you want to have the analogy with file system, let's say the Notion could be a large map, and then all these are either subfolders or single files that you have in the computer. So this is just a menu. You can actually, the Notion app is built on data blocks, so to say. So this, where the mouse cursor is now blinking, is something that you can decide on what you want to make it. So you can find loads of resources about Notion on YouTube, so I'm not going to stay with that. I'm going to just show you how my kind of desktop looks. This is basically my writing board. This is where I start. So I have music, which is my main interest, of course, and these are the pages that I assembled to just take care of the gigs, workshops, ideas for songs, my licks, set lists when I'm performing, pack-in lists. Everything can be done as a to-do lists that you can have the check boxes in and all that. And then the knowledge is here. I'm a sucker for knowledge. I have, let's say, a large database that's called, this is very ambitious, Smithsonian. You know, the Smithsonian Institute, a library in the States. I was always fascinated by that, by the amount of knowledge that libraries have. And so I thought, okay, if I call it Smithsonian, maybe I'll be more in this big list of things that I found, usually online. And these are the things that I like to learn. Maybe I want some of that will help me with music, productivity, and everything else. So this is kind of a knowledge base with all kinds of knowledge. It doesn't have to be related to music or productivity. It can be politics, it can be philosophy. Everything is there. And then I have studies, which is the database of things that I'm working on that I want to learn. So this is the root. This is the data basement. This is where everything lives in Notion. But what's great with Notion is that you have these dashboards which you can form the way you want to see things. This is a bit overwhelming for me, although I know exactly what each of these pages is for, but I don't want to see them all at the same time. So what I'm doing is that I'm creating these favorites where I have my cockpit. And this is, I want to see Muddy Waters as soon as I open my computer. It's just like that. I love Muddy. And these are some, I don't know, statements, some things that I like to read first before I just get to work and start to do things. I've been reading a lot of Stoicism, and that philosophy is so impressive and so deep that I really try to apply it to my life and to maybe choose wise what I'm going to be working on and when. So all that comes into place. This is kind of a memento mori, like, okay, this is how much, this is too nerdy. Okay, forget it. Doesn't matter. This is what's left of this year. This is what's left of this month. This is left from this day. Kind of perspective to everything. So this is my main focuses for the 3 areas. This is my work, 9-to-5 job, that I really can't consider as 9-to-5 because I love every inch and second of what I'm doing there, because we're working with music, media, music production. We're working with marketing of music, how to succeed in music business and everything. So I'm kind of working there, but I'm also learning myself about all that. So it's amazing. Then my freelance work, I have these retreat sessions planning if I'm going to continue with them. But now that I started with live streams, I'm not sure about that. Studies, anything YouTube. I need to learn more about YouTube. So, but here, this is just the excerpts of parts of my big task database, which consists of, I guess, several hundreds of things that I need to get done within many different projects. But here it's filtered, and it's only filtered with the help of Notion with two rules. One is that the done is not checked, and the due date is on or before 1 week from now. So I just need to see that's what's important, that I really need to think of now. So every day is going to show me what's coming for the next week, right? And then my project list is much longer than this, but these are the projects that are actual right now, also filtered in Notion by the status is active. This is another kind of way to make it active, that Notion will read it and put it in front of me, and where priority is 1. So as soon as I put priority 1 on something, it's going to end up here. So the morning every morning I open the cockpit, and that's where I look. Here are the studies. These are, let's say, the things that I'm learning constantly, and I'm working on just now, which means, well, just now is not now, of course. It's within this period of the year, of this period of my life. This is what I need to learn more about in order to progress and maybe to reach a goal that maybe some of the projects is leading to. Ecamm software, let's say this is the application that I'm using to live stream with. So constant learning there. Final Cut Pro, editing. Hello, Raphael, master of Final Cut Pro. These are the people that I'd like to get in touch very soon. This is David Hunt that I mentioned before. And if I just scroll a little bit to the side here, then you will see that the last time we had contact was actually today. I actually thanked him for the inspiration from this live stream last week, and I said, I'm going to mention you tonight in my live stream. And he usually comes in and says hi, but maybe today he's occupied. And then there are other people this is my friend from Germany, amazing musician, and this is something for my merch that I'm planning to work with. So these are, let's say, the people from the large database where I have, 50, 60 people, which is not my address book. It's just people that I either follow online or have contact in various networks that I'm connected to, and so on. My phone book is around 2,000 people, so it's enormous. And here, this is finally that we come to music. This is something I'm going to be showing you the bigger view and bigger picture of that. These are the ideas that are filtered after one rule only, and that I put the just now tag on them. You can put all kinds of tags that you create yourself, and then you can assign Notion a task of showing you only what you need to see. So these are the songs, the ideas for songs, or ideas for licks, or when I get the idea to make maybe some new arrangements to old songs, and so on. But this is a big song library. So I have a library of, I think, around 150, 160 songs that I mostly and usually play live when I play. But some songs I need to work on. Some are just there with a tag called OK because I know them. I've played them for ages. I can sometimes just scroll through the big list and say, okay, what do I feel like doing? So this is where we come to the productivity, and this is where I can give you tips about how to apply a good, let's say, well-organized list of songs, notes, ideas, and all that. It's that when you look at that, then you can choose what you want to work with, and I make my choices as small as I can. So here is a choice of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs only, and these are the ideas. Ideas are more here because ideas or licks are usually short stuff that you can maybe I could maybe work on these ideas within a session of hour and a half maybe, and then I'll be done. Then I can define what I want to do with those ideas, and then maybe I can assign them to a project. Maybe I can connect them to upcoming gigs or something, which I'll be showing you in a very brief second. So those are these. So this is my cockpit. This is where I work on. So this is where this comes to life. I'm preparing a performance on Åmål Blues Festival, which is Sweden's, I think, one of the largest festivals here, and I'm really proud that I've been playing there since 1997. I think this is going to be my 12th year at Åmål. I just love playing there, and I usually create a project in Notion for everything that's important and that has a beginning and the end that I can see. Otherwise, it's a process. Otherwise, it's an area that I work on. So here in Notion, I have all these actually columns. If you think about Notion as a Excel file in the Office package, right? Then all of these properties, as Notion calls it, are actually columns in Excel. And I'll show you that. So these are, let's say, the ideas that are connected to this festival. These are the tasks that I just assigned to myself to do it there. It's still priority number 2 because it's in July, so I have plenty of time. It's active. It's connected to my area of music and performing. And all this that looks maybe complicated here on the screen and like, oh God, how do you do that? Actually, it's just doing this once, and then it stays there. It's like a computer file that's always there. You just bring it up and you start working on it. So what's also nice with Notion is that I can just bring in the views of all these tasks lists here. So I can maybe open one of the tasks and create something within those tasks. Okay, decide on which guitars I'll take. Maybe I can just write down a couple of notes about, okay, this main guitar has to go with me. But should I take the metal body guitar or should I take the little Sandon Brasiphonic? Which should be with me then? And because I know that I can't take more than 3 guitars for the festival, it's usually that I take 3 or 4 guitars, but since it's going to be a lot of moving within the area, I need to be mobile. So I need to think about that. So that's, let's say, about this festival. That's how I use it. So here we go to the ideas for songs. This is how the main list of all my ideas is presented, that I choose to see what am I working on now. This is a song to arrange. This is a arrangement idea for something that I already know how to play, but I have some maybe additional ideas. Idea for my own song, let's say, that I put. And all of these taggings and all that, it's in a ground course for basic Notion functions, which is very easily available and totally for free on YouTube. And I have to say, Notion is free for everybody to use. It's very easy to configure and to have a very, as Patrick says here, a dynamic to-do list. Or let me just find my mouse and then I'll find Patrick's comment here. Yes, it's a great definition. It is a very nice and dynamic to-do list if you want to treat it that way, definitely. Oh, hello, son. Now I'm having a stage fright. My son is here and he's a software engineer. So, okay, I'll try to make this simple, not to say too much of the things that I don't know. But this is how I solve it. But there are different views. Notion can give you different views of this same database. Let's say all ideas. If I click on this one, it will show me all my ideas listed this way. Now this is resemblant of, let's say, Microsoft Excel or numbers on Mac OS. You have your, let's say, this column, and then you have the tags, and you have some other things here. You can have as many of these properties, columns as you want. You can make it as complicated as you want, but it can also be viewed in different ways. Let's say my live streaming ideas are only 3 for the moment because I sorted them that way. These are ideas by status. What am I working on right now? Ideas when I jam with somebody. this is cool. Like, okay, let's see if I can maybe find some new songs, new ideas about things that I could jam about, and all that. So if I scroll all the way down on ideas column here, it's going to be endless. It's a very long list, right? So I'm not thinking of all of them all the time. Basically, I'm in this view. Same goes for the big song library. I'm only basically watching this filtered view of what am I working right now. That's it. I can always go back to, let's say, live stream suitable. This is also a nice way of this is a so-called gallery view in Notion. You can see things as a table, as an Excel, right? You can see them as a gallery view. You can see them in this. This is called Kanban boards. There is an app called Trello that uses this as a primary user interface. Blues Week. That's right. I'm going to Blues Week in the UK in August, and I'm going to be teaching there. So I have this long list of songs that some of them I will teach, some of them I will maybe just play during our sessions or whatever, but this is just a big list that I need to filter and need to work on them and then decide which are going to be for the Blues Week and which are not going to be there. So basically, I think that's all about Notion and how I gather my stuff. And when it comes to life, and when we talk productivity, then you got this, excuse me. So when it comes to think about, okay, but everything is nicely sorted, everything is there, but how do you decide really which song to work on a particular day or something? Well, at least I have a choice of maybe between 3 and 10 things, and then I decide what I'm in the mood for. And then I also have to talk about the myth of that you need to be inspired to play the guitar or to compose something. Now, basically, now we didn't talk about how to do when you're composing stuff, when you're writing music. It's maybe we're not all Bob Dylan, James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, First Aid Kit. You know, maybe they find their inspiration like, oh, I woke up this morning, I'm going to write a song. That's great. That's fantastic for them. But it's always that things happen when you're doing them, which means, okay, here's a great example. I used to play with a guy named Rick Story, amazing banjo player from the States, from California. And he used to live in Sweden in the mid-90s. And we met and started playing together. We played some country festivals around the place. He used to tour Germany with the Story brothers. And they played for Jack Daniels and made a lot of tours over there. So, amazing banjo player. He could play the Deliverance, this, you know, right? He could play that according to the original and then add some more stuff on top of it. He was amazing. So, he's amazing. So he had a routine every morning, no matter. He would sit and play in his kitchen for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. He would just go on and repeat everything, just like almost like classical musicians. So when it comes to translating that to us, okay, I'm not going to play for 3 hours. I'm going to play for 30 minutes. Let me look at my list where I have this, okay, list of 10. Okay, what do I feel like playing? And then I choose maybe 1 or 2 of those and do them during my 30 minutes. I write down what I did and what I've accomplished, and then I let it go. Then the next day, maybe I'll do something else. So it's distilled to narrowing down the choices, but you have to be deliberate on that. You have to be sometimes ruthless. It's like, okay, I'd love to play this song for the 5,075th time in my life because I love it and I've played it so many times, but maybe that's not really taking me to the next level of what I maybe want to achieve. Definitely when my summer is coming, I have a couple of gigs planned. I have this Omo Blues Festival. I have the Blues Week in the UK. I have my guitar retreat that's also going to be in July. And actually, if anybody's interested from you guys here from Sweden, I have only 2 spots left, maybe 3, for this group that's coming on July 22nd to 24th. So if you go to this link that's in the description below, it's called homesickmac.live, then you can read about the retreat and see the application form, you know, see all the conditions, everything that we're going to be doing. It's a great location in Sweden. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and this is narrowing down my choices to even less than all this. This is going to be the time for me from, let's say, beginning of June, that I really work deliberately on all of these things. I'm going to create projects for each and one of the performances, and I have my special tasks and song lists, maybe song choices, maybe I'll have 20, 25 songs to choose from, and then I will I'll do the set list, and then I'll be working on the set list for several weeks. That's what I usually do, and then I play the songs in the same order that I'm going to be playing them live. This is also maybe a tip if you're going to be performing somewhere, if you want to kind of put yourself into this creating mode. And I love being aware of what's coming next, and that my set lists are well composed, so to say. And then of course I'll have to react on the spot if people are maybe not reacting to my playing so much that I maybe just have to throw in a faster song or something. But that's another story. So yeah, that's it. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Tasia Malone. She is creating some amazing Notion templates. And she's a musician herself, and she has this great template when it comes to, let's say, another type of playing and planning than what I'm doing, because I think that her template is more turned towards people playing classical music and maybe having a deliberate list of exactly which piece they're working on and working on in detail. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tasia. But we've been in contact for more than a year now, I think, and exchanging experiences about Notion. We're both in love with the app and all that. So go and try to find her YouTube channel. It's very easy. Ooh, Evernote. I didn't want to mention all the steps before I discovered Notion, but Evernote was one of the apps that I really was liking very much, and I thought at the time when it came, it was the best note-taking app and the way to assemble things and to group things together. But it didn't have any to-do lists. It didn't have an interface that could go more than, let's say, 3 stages. Then I needed at least 5 or 6 levels of gathering things, putting things together. So it's like as soon as I've discovered Notion, that was it. And I've been using Notion since 2019, and still going strong. I'm not switching to anything else, not now. Yeah. This is my next step with Notion. I'm going to be creating, let's say, a guitar retreat page where my students can come and see what we're going to be working on. They can follow in real time while we're on the retreat. Everything's going to be placed there with their links to maybe original versions of the songs that we're going to be working on, some licks, and all the videos. And talking about videos, what I didn't show you guys was this. In Notion, I have this, let me see here. This is a database that my students and people who come to my guitar retreats have access to. It's done in Notion, of course, and these are the videos from all the years that we've been having the retreat since 1855, no, but since 2012. And let's say the last year, 2021, we worked on these songs. So they can go in into this, and they don't even know this is Notion. They see this as a website, and just click on the links. And when, let's say, when you click on the song, it opens up, tells you which style it is, the key. I mean, you can read yourself. Here's a link to my video on YouTube, but they can also watch the video inside a Notion. And the good thing about that is that they can play the video here, and then they can see the lyrics as well. Sometimes I even write song history or whatever, but that's also what Notion is absolutely amazing to be used for. So Tasia, thanks for mentioning that. I would have forgotten. That's great. Ooh, okay. The retreat mailing list is broken right now. I'm sure the retreat mailing list. Oh, maybe in the video description down below. But if you go to homesickmac.live, then you will come to the page where... No, there's no mailing list link there. No, I'll fix it. Thank you, Tasia. Thank you, Patrick. So, let me see. Yeah, exactly. Classical percussionist. Ooh, you're gonna be first. But I was also trying to maybe make a template that I could share with people that would be some a version of my big song list and ideas list, and then just to make it in a dashboard for Notion. But I don't know. I appreciate your hard work with templates because it's not easy. It's amazing. It's a lot to do. Yeah, great. Good. So we've passed the hour. I was talking a lot, so I think we'll just leave the lick of the week for the next week. It's going to be based on this what we played today as the backup pattern. I really love that pattern. So if you want to go back to the beginning of the stream, you can listen to it later on. So thanks so much for coming. If you don't have any other questions, or if you want me to talk about something else, then maybe I'll wrap it up. And thank you for coming. And then I'll see you next Monday. And do visit the links in the description of this live stream. Click on those and just check them out. And let me know. I'm quite active on Twitter, so it's @homesickmac on Twitter, and I usually respond very quickly, faster than on emails. So, okay, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up. And thanks for coming. I'll see you next week. All the best. Oh, here's David. Latecomer, but I think you got hiccups over the past hour because I've mentioned you at least 10 times. Sometimes I watch David's live streams afterwards on the replay because sometimes I have meetings when he's live streaming, and but I was there today. All right. Thank you, Gary. Thanks for coming. All right, David. Okay, before I leave, I'll just show you one thing. You know what I showed them today? The lick that you inspired me with, or the chord shape and the groove. This one. Your blues stream last Monday. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So yeah, check the replay. I don't want to keep you too much longer, everybody. So thanks for coming, and I'll see you next week. You're welcome on Monday, 9 p.m. CEST. All right. All the best.
was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Things could call me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Don't like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone,